I have traveled to the world of Hokage, but I have never seen Hokage. But it's not a big problem. It's said that this is a story about Gundam's battle against aliens, also known as Black Jue Saving Mother. The main storyline is in hand, and I have it all over the world. I can also drive Gundam. Cultivation, scientific research, world change. Everything is under control. Keywords of the novel. I haven't seen Huaying, no pop-ups. I haven't seen Huaying. Download the complete set of TXT, and read the latest chapters of Huaying. Chapter 1. Done, this is Hokage. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Chapter 1 done, this is Hokage, what? He said he's Hokage. Keep it down, don't you take a look at what kind of occasion this is. Oh, but the sleeping trough, this place is actually a fire shadow. On the huge playground, hundreds of children stood sparsely, facing the podium in front of them. On the podium, a middle-aged man wearing a hat with the word, fire, was speaking. This middle-aged man just said he is Hokage then. Jingyun Kamiya was bewildered. If you say you are Hokage, wouldn't this be Hokage Ninja World? But I haven't seen Hokage, I don't know the plot. The sudden news left Jingyun Kamiya feeling a bit confused, and coupled with Huaying's already boring speech, he was completely confused throughout the entire process, not even knowing when he was pulled into the classroom. From today on, everyone will be classmates. I am your teacher, my name is Hino Jiha, and I will be responsible for everyone's learning for the next 6 years. I hope we can have a pleasant cooperation. On stage, a ninja wearing a vest bowed, then turned around and wrote 4 big characters on the blackboard. Hino Jiha. I like to eat sweet things, hate war, dream of becoming a teacher that everyone likes. Now, let's start our first activity after the start of the school year, self-introduction. As I just mentioned, let's start with you one by one, said Hino Ji and 2 classmates pointing to the door. The 2 children were not afraid of the stage either. The first one stood up and said, my name is Shinyu Chuyun. I love barbecue the most, and I hate eating vegetables. As for my dream, I want to become the guardian of the wooden leaves. Hino Shiin nodded, it's not bad. This child has given everyone a good start. So, next one. Kamiya Jingyun sat at the back, staring blankly at the outside world. In fact, his brain was desperately recalling the bits and pieces of the fire shadow. After all, it's really difficult to navigate through time without knowing the plot, especially if you don't know who the protagonist is and who the villain is. If you report the wrong thigh, wouldn't it be a case of GG? He comes from a rural area in Central Plains Province. He doesn't have a computer at home, but he does have a TV. He even has a pot, but he can't receive a TV station that plays Hokage. However, both One Piece and Dragon Ball have watched it. In order to change his backward hometown, Jingyun studied hard from a young age and was admitted to the highest junior high school in the village, the best high school in the city, and then to China Agricultural University. However, that was already 2020, and by this time, Huaying had already completed 3 years. In addition, Jingyun was busy with studying and didn't have time to make up for such a long animation that had been completed for 3 years. As for how he traveled through it. Is it because I stayed up late to take care of the wheat seedlings and died suddenly? Regarding Hokage, when school first started, his roommate asked him a few questions, but later found out that he hadn't watched it. When we talked about the plot in the future, he avoided him. He now recalls that his understanding of Hokage was only a few words from his roommate, as well as watching short videos. When he went online, someone posted comments in the comments section that went viral. For example, Naruto, also known as Legendary Eyes, Black Jue Saving Mother, and later Gundam vs. Aliens. There are also a few highly popular characters, such as Bany, Snake Uncle, Zirihong, and What Kind of Uncle Did You Die So Tragically? Fu quota. Shingu Jingyun rubbed his temples, but it was not a big problem. I had written novels to support my family, and in the year I left, scripts were everywhere. I also played frequently and my logical reasoning ability was also excellent. Isn't Huiying a hot-blooded anime? The plot of this type of anime is very simple, it's just that the protagonist is hot-blooded all the way, unlocking blood and hanging, and finally defeating the big villain. With so many keywords, it's not a problem for me to extract the main plot. Firstly, from the name, Naruto, these 4 words can be extracted into 2 keywords. Naruto and Naruto. Ninjas are a profession, but after crossing over, he became a commoner and only moved into Kiba this year. It is unclear what ninjas actually do. In his past life, he knew that ninjas were responsible for poisoning, assassinating, and gathering intelligence. Their functions were a bit like special forces, and he didn't know if the 2 worlds were the same. As for Huiying, that is the leader of the ninja, the highest leader of this village, the man just now. This naming convention is a bit like that of a master and a cultivator, or a pirate king and a crew, simple and simple, so this story should be about Hokage and ninjas. According to the common rules of hot-blooded comics, perhaps the protagonist's goal is to become Hokage. Then, Legend, this name is a bit like Neza Legend, Fengshen Legend, and Lingjing Legend. The characters in front of the legend are usually the main plot. If it is a person, then that person is the protagonist, such as Neza. So, in this world, the protagonist is the eyes. My name is Chimu Kakashi. Do you like things? There are many things you dislike, don't want to say, dreams are all kinds of things. A voice next to me sounded, waking up Jingyun Kamiya from deep thought. He realized that it seemed like it was his turn to introduce himself. Well, my name is Jingyun Shingu. I like flowers and plants, but I hate insects, right? Jingyun Shingu felt a tight bag next to him, and the hedgehog head wearing sunglasses seemed to glare at him. Why are you staring at me? I'm from the Academy of Agricultural Sciences. Who's the farmer who likes insects? However, it seems that the school management here is very relaxed, and even wearing sunglasses during class. As for dreams, I hope for world peace. Jingyun Kamiya has not yet deduced the plot, but the ideal of world peace cannot be criticized by anyone, unless it is a cult here, fearing that the world will not be chaotic. Good dream. Only Hino Shigehiro applauded. After all, there are still many dreams of world peace in front of him, and Kazumo Kamiya's words are not particularly prominent. More importantly, Jingyun Kamiya is a commoner and a passerby character, and no one cares about what he says. Who is that, Casey? Jingyun Shingu sat down and began greeting his desk mate next to him. I don't know, but I was startled to see this kid with white hair on his head and a big mask on his face, leaving only his eyes covered. Isn't it uncomfortable to wear it like this? You know, during the 2 years of the pandemic, I didn't get used to wearing masks. The key is that this kind of dress and appearance are not generally supporting role in comics. You should know that the recognition of comic characters is not high, and special characters need to put in effort in dressing up, decoration, and hair color. This child's white-haired hedgehog head is still wearing a mask, and I don't believe you call him a passerby. My name is Kakashi, Chimu is my surname. Kakashi said helplessly, but his tone was still a bit curious. He comes from the Chimu family, and his father is the famous Chimu Shuamao, with white leaves and teeth. He is like a high-ranking son. Plus, he has been practicing swordsmanship since he was young, and his eyes are sharp. Ordinary children dare not even greet him. It seems that this child is not a member of any family. Is he so brave? Interesting. Oh, I'm sorry, Chimu Kakashi, I remember. Jingyun Kamiya nodded and asked, do you know who in the village has particularly strange eyes? Since the main supporting role are here, it means that the main character is not far away. Maybe you can ask Kakashi. Kakashi was taken aback. What do you mean, to gather intelligence? No, it doesn't make sense. Even if it's a spy, there's no one who can spy like this. Besides, he knows the surname Shingu. This is the surname that has always been responsible for the worship of the Inawa god in the Fire Country. Generations have served the Fire Country, so there's no reason to betray it. Besides, are white eyes and writing will eyes still considered intelligence? Isn't this a matter of bad streets? So, pure curiosity. Also, it is difficult for ordinary families to produce a ninja. Their daily life and ninja are two parallel lines. Now that they have entered, it is normal to be curious about what the ninja world looks like. People like to pretend and be good teachers, and Kakashi is no exception. Eyes, as we all know, there are two blood-stained families in Kiba. One is the Hinata clan, which has the white eye blood inheritance limit, and the other is the Uchiha clan, which has the right will eye blood inheritance limit. Look there, that classmate is from Uchiha. Surprisingly, people with special eyes are not one, but two major families. Kamiya Jingyun fell silent, then followed Kakashi's gaze. It was an ordinary-looking child wearing goggles, foolishly looking at a little girl sitting in the front row with a painted face. How do you feel about this child's low intelligence? No, the protagonist of the hot-blooded comic, as long as the hot-blooded is enough, the IQ really doesn't need to be too high. So, is he the protagonist? What is his name? Jingyun Shingu asked. Yuji Bo brings soil. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. World Treasures. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2 World Treasures. Yuji Bo Dai 2, Shingu Jingyun silently wrote down on the paper, and then marked 4 words at the back. Suspected protagonist. But it's not certain yet. After all, there's also a story about Black Jue saving his mother later on. If this person's name is Uchiha Black Jue, it would be stable, but he's not. But not necessarily. What if his mother was arrested and he changed his name to Mingji? So it's called suspected. Continuing to analyze, Gundam fights against aliens. He understands both Gundam and aliens, and when combined, it doesn't go against him. Isn't the movie The Pacific Rim the same as Gundam fighting against aliens? But in the world of Hokage, it's a bit strange. Shingu Jingyun has also lived in this world for 5 years. Although he used to live in rural areas and didn't go out often, and had limited exposure to things, he also knows that the level of technology here is low. On Earth, that is, the level around the 1920s. It should be noted that the Earth is already in 2021, and Gundam is still far away. How did this world create Gundam? Is the timeline very long, in 70 or 80 years? However, it's not necessarily true. Jingyun Kamiya knows that there are supernatural powers here. If supernatural powers are applied in construction, such as in knights and magic, then Gundam may actually be able to be created quickly. So, the logic of the entire story is very clear. A boy named Hinata Heijue, or Uchiha Heijue, built Gundam to save his mother because his mother was captured by aliens. Well, it sounds really passionate. No wonder it has been popular for so many years, combining elements that teenagers love such as passion, superpowers, Gundam, aliens, and more. Can this not be popular? Then, study the highly popular characters. Mr. Ban, this name immediately suggests that he is an old scientist character like Grandpa the Naughty Boy. It is likely that he proposed a method to create a Gundam to resist aliens, and then help the protagonist create a mecha. Snake Uncle, this name sounds very familiar. It should be a role of life support and spiritual mentor, just like how Red Hair played against Luffy in One Piece. If there is a chance to meet him, he should be able to make friends, hug his thigh, and maybe even get some benefits. Shiri Hong, this name sounds like a girl's name. Is it the female lead? Shingu Jingyun asked in a low voice, which is Shiri Hong. Kakashi shook his head and said, I don't know you. Ah, oh, Shingu Jingyun nodded. Indeed, the female lead may not have appeared from the beginning, or it could have been a celestial descent. As the saying goes, green plums are not as good as heavenly descent. Look at the girl in front with a painted face, maybe it's green plums. Do you know Snake Uncle? Jingyun Shingu asked again. Snake Uncle. Kakashi was taken aback. He had never heard of the name, but a ninja image with golden eyes and licking lips had already subconsciously appeared in his mind. Subconsciously trembling all over, he said, "Are you referring to Senior Orochimaru, one of the three ninjas?" San-nin. Orochimaru. Do you have a nickname? Jingyun Kamiya asked, "Is he very famous?" Of course, he is one of the three disciples of the three generations of Hokage Lord, with great strength. He is very popular, said Kakashi. Oh, that's right, then it seems that Snake Uncle is him. Jingyun Shingu was a bit excited and finally found someone who matched the number. He didn't know what Snake Uncle liked, so he came back and brought 2 kilograms of oranges to visit him. There's nothing he can do. He crossed over and seems to have no golden fingers. What else can he do without holding someone's thigh? As for the eldest uncle, this should be a character like the older brother of the female lead, or the older brother of Zirihong. However, Zirihong has not yet appeared, so asking about it is meaningless. In fact, he also knows some words about Hokage, such as how many floors a bag of rice can carry, I would like to call you the strongest, my art style is above you, and so on. However, these words have no beginning or end, and have no reference significance. Jingyun Shingu did not intend to delve deeper into them. After running through the plot of Huiying, Jingyun Shingu finally felt much more at ease and could listen attentively to the class. He knows the truth that knowledge changes the fate. After all, many supporting role only favor the protagonist. If they are passers-by, they will not look at them. What if he hasn't been liked by Snake Uncle, doesn't he have to work hard on his own? Coincidentally, all the self-introductions have been completed, and Hino Shiki has started talking. Our ninja school currently has a 5-year academic system, during which we will teach you many things. The subjects are divided into humanities and practical courses, and future exams will also have 2 types of exams, with the total score being the total score of both exams. In the humanities, we offer 7 major subjects: Chinese, miscellaneous language, mathematics, physics, chemistry, ciphertext, and the will of fire. In practical classes, we offer 8 major subjects: seal binding, 3-body technique, sword throwing technique, painless throwing technique, close combat, painless fighting, basic herb identification, trap arrangement and cracking. Some of these courses are accessible to you now, and others will only be offered in higher grades. The most crucial course among them is the 3-body technique, because your graduation exam is the 3-body technique. Teacher, if you master the 3-body technique in advance, can you graduate early? Kakashi suddenly raised his hand and asked. Hino Shiga was about to get angry when he thought about graduating in 1st grade. Are you going against the odds? But when it looks like Kakashi, it's okay. Early graduation requires an early application, and the content of the graduation exam will be determined by Hokage, said Shizuki Hino and waved his hand. Okay. Kakashi let go. Okay, let's continue. During these 5 years, we will intermittently insert some knowledge related to medical ninjutsu, sealed ninjutsu, and barrier ninjutsu to test whether you have the talent for these 3 courses. If so, congratulations, you can enter the medical class, barrier class, or seal class. The treatment in these departments is very good. Shingu Jingyun keenly felt that some people were eager to try, while others were disdainful. Those who were eager to try were mostly those with no distinctive appearance. As for those who were disdainful, there were also some without distinctive features, but there were some marks on their bodies, shoulders, or clothes to some extent. Kamiya Jingyun knew that these people were all descendants of the family, and their markings were the clan emblem. The Kamiya family also has a clan emblem, which is the image of a girl riding a cow and a god of rice and lotus. However, this is the clan emblem of a mortal family, and in the world of ordinary people, it cannot be considered a human being. It can only be said to be in the middle class, but in the village of Kiba, this type of clan emblem has no authority. So next, I will teach you the chakra extraction method. Chakra is the foundation of all ninja techniques such as body art, ninjutsu, swordsmanship, and even illusion. Without chakra, one is destined to not become a ninja. You have already been tested and have the possibility of giving birth to chakra. By using the chakra extraction method, you can extract chakras. Students who have already extracted chakras can practice on their own first. Students who have not studied before can listen carefully, which is related to whether you can extract chakras as soon as possible. You should know that the speed of extracting chakras varies depending on the level of effort you put in. Shingu Jinyun Hihi, he has also worked as a counselor and knows the common language used by teachers. The word level of effort should be a comforting word. As for cultivation, it definitely depends on talent. Those with good talent can be refined quickly, while those with poor talent can be slowly refined. I don't know how talented I am either. When it comes to cultivating, it all depends on my talent. If it's a peerless genius, it's okay, but if it's a mediocre talent who hasn't been able to produce a fart in a few years, it would be awkward. Jinyun Kamiya frowned and listened to Shizuki Haino's speech. Close your eyes, meditate, imagine that there are two forces in your body, one in your head and brain, and the other in your body, and then gather these two forces to your abdomen. Hino Shizuka read softly and made a handprint. At the same time, make this seal. This seal is used to activate chakra, and you will learn more about it later. How does Jinyun of Shingu imitate the pattern of sealing, closing his eyes, meditating, and his spirit converging in his mind? Then his entire vision changes from the original chaos to a somewhat dark, but bright pond in the middle. Shingu Jinyun looked at the pond, which was less than 20 meters long and wide, in shock. The pond was filled with dark and bottomless water, and there were no fish in the water. Instead, it was a gray-black flower bud. Where is this? What is this? Jinyun Kamiya asked in surprise, is this chakra? He didn't expect to get an answer, but at the moment he asked, the answer automatically came to his mind. This is his spiritual space, and the pool water is his spiritual power. The flower bud in the center of the pool water is a treasure that he accidentally merged with his spirit in the chaotic sea while crossing, and its full name is World Seed. The full function of the World Seed is unknown, but now it is constantly absorbing the power of the world. After absorbing enough, it can bloom a world flower, and from the Zhongshan Valley Jinyun, it can bloom a world secret treasure. World secrets can be items, supernatural powers, or living beings, but no matter which one they are, they will always be world-class secrets. And the level of this world treasure is related to the world power that the world seed draws. The higher the world power it draws, and the higher the level of the world treasure it opens up. This is my golden finger. Jinyun Shingu was overjoyed, and I said, how could a traveler not have a golden finger? The world's treasure, this is my golden finger. Shingu Jinyun already knew that in the world of Hokage, the seed of this world can bloom once every 5 years. As early as his 5th birthday, this seed could bloom, but he had never meditated, so he did not come in to retrieve it. Now, he can finally obtain his first world treasure. Open. Boom. In an instant, the sky was in disarray, and the earth was filled with golden lotus flowers, blowing the great Dharma drum and striking the great Dharma luo. Well, actually it's not that mysterious. The seed of the world is just a plain and unremarkable blooming, transforming into a colorful 7-colored lotus. In the center of the lotus, there is a golden ball, or jade, or pill, securely placed on the lotus platform. Shingu Jinyun reached out and the pill naturally flew up, then fell into his hands. Without any guidance, he swallowed the pill directly into his mouth. The next second, he understood the function of this pill. The golden elixir of talent opens up a world-class talent, and his talent is called Heavenly Wave rewards diligence. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Showcasing Talent. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 Showcasing Talent. The Heavenly Way rewards diligence. The Heavenly Way will give corresponding rewards based on your efforts. Your creation, learning, exercise, and comprehension processes will be influenced by the effect of the Heavenly Way rewards diligence. This talent seems amazing. Jinhyun Kamiya carefully studied the effects of this talent and was then surprised. People often say that there is justice in the world, and there is always a reward for the effort. But this sentence is a poisonous chicken soup. The fact is, doing anything requires talent. Some people only need 1% effort to surpass 99% of your sweat. There are so many people playing the piano nationwide, and only Lang Lang is the master. There are so many people playing Go nationwide and even worldwide, but only a few at the level of Kujia. In college, 6 people in a dormitory were exposed to LOL from scratch, but Jinhyun Shingu worked tirelessly to get a diamond, while his roommate Li Jun easily reached the 600 points of the king and even received an invitation from a youth training camp. If it weren't for his age, he would have really gone. This is clearly talent at play. Even if ordinary people try their best, they can only touch the ankles of truly talented people. But now it's different. Jinhyun Kamiya has the talent of the Heavenly Way to reward diligence, which obviously ignores the role of physical talent. In a true sense, it has achieved the effect of the world's own justice, where hard work always pays off. From then on, even if Shingu Jinhyun's cultivation talent is not good and he does not have the talent to control mechs, he can still become an elite in this field with the help of the Heavenly Way and diligence. When the time comes, will I turn the storm red or will I turn the flame-colored Qilin? Returning to his senses, Jinhyun Kamiya realized that he had left his spiritual space, and then he felt 2 waves of energy. A hot wave surged out of the body, but it was unclear which part of the body it was. Anyway, by the time Kamiya Jinhyun felt it, it was already in the abdomen. Another wave surged from above and quickly spread downwards. This feeling seems to be mixed up, very blurry, and even Jinhyun Shingu feels like an illusion, but as time goes on, this feeling becomes increasingly clear. The way of heaven rewards diligence. Jinhyun Kamiya is working hard to perceive these 2 energies, and his ability to perceive these 2 energies will naturally improve. He tried to manipulate these 2 energies, converging within his body, and in an instant, it was like Mars colliding with Earth and the Big Bang of the universe. Well, it's not that exaggerated either. It's just a slight vibration, and Kamiya Jinhyun felt that the 2 energies naturally merged together, giving birth to an energy that is countless times clearer than the first 2, and even Kamiya Jinhyun felt that with a movement of his mind, he could move its position. Chakra. Jinhyun Kamiya knew in his heart that this was chakra, the core of the ninja system. He had heard of it a long time ago, but had never been able to see the extraordinary power. Opening his eyes, Jinhyun Kamiya looked around curiously. He wanted to know his talent, but he didn't look too far before realizing that Kakashi was keeping his eyes open. Did you become? Jinhyun Shingu asked in surprise. It's already there. Kakashi replied casually. He is not inherently cold, but because of his appearance and background, people unconsciously distance themselves from him. A child took the initiative to chat with him, and although Kakashi felt bored, he was still willing to answer. Especially casually showing off one's talent, which he still doesn't know, is called Versailles. Shingu Jinhyun is speechless, and indeed, he is a character with a name and surname. How long did it take you to extract chakra from scratch? Jinhyun Kamiya asked. 2 hours. Kaka casually said in an impatient expression in his suit. Wow. Sure enough, someone exclaimed, Kakashi is so amazing. I used it for 4 full days back then. What is the name of a girl with brown hair, bangs on her forehead, ponytails combed, and red-brown rapeseed painted on her cheeks? Cough cough, quiet down with chakra, don't disturb other classmates. Hino Jiha knocked on the table. The girl spat out her tongue upon seeing this and fell silent. Shingu Jinhyun, why don't you extract chakra? Hino Shiga looked at Shingu Jingyun again. You probably haven't learned it before. Don't just follow Kakashi without practicing, he's different from you. Oh, teacher, I have successfully refined it. Jingyun Kamiya pretended to be aggrieved and said, while looking at the time. It has only been less than 15 minutes. Kakashi is a supporting role with a name and family name, and it took 2 hours, that is, 4 hours. Some people still think he's amazing. I only used 15 minutes, what's that called, genius? It's really fake. Sure enough, Hino Jiha was surprised, and Kakashi beside him also turned his head in surprise. How long has it been? I'm a genius. It took me 2 hours, but you only took 15 minutes. What kind of genius am I after this comparison? Kakashi has fallen into self-doubt. What? The other classmates also shouted. How could it be? I'm Yujibo, I didn't even succeed. The first person to speak was suspected to be the protagonist Yujibo with soil. Other classmates were also chattering, looking at Jingyun Shingu in disbelief. Are you bragging? Perhaps commoners have never seen chakras before, and when their stomachs are full, they think they have extracted chakras. Quiet. Hino Shiga waved his hand and said, you refine your own. Hino Jiha didn't believe it either. He took a few steps up and grabbed the hand of Kamiya Jingyun. Kamiya Jingyun felt a wave of energy slowly invading his body from his wrist, colliding with his chakra and immediately returning in the same direction. Then, I heard the exclamation of Hisahiro Hino. Really, it's really true. What am I deceiving you for? Jingyun Shingu smiled proudly. He doesn't want to hide his talents, he wants to move from the technological level of the 20th century to the level of manufacturing, which requires a huge number of talents, but also an extremely large number of geniuses. If Jingyun Kamiya wants to participate in this project, he naturally needs to show his talents. After all, people with talent and those without talent receive completely different treatment. Furthermore, he believes that no organized organization can be without a talent selection mechanism, even if it represents disorder and chaos in the demonic world. Talented disciples can easily stand out. If a mature organization stifles or suppresses geniuses, then this organization is destined to not last long, but Kiba is the leader of the 5 ninja villages. They obviously wouldn't do such a foolish thing. Well, roughly sure enough, he saw the surprised expression on Hayezi and his face, which was very familiar to Jingyun in Shingu. It was the same as the expression on the professor's face when he answered 4 consecutive questions in class. You continue to refine and familiarize yourself with this feeling. Yoshihiro Hano patted Kamiya Jingyun's shoulder and hurriedly left. Did you report to the higher-ups? Kamiya Jingyun guessed, then turned his head to look at Kakashi. Kakashi also looked at him with a surprised expression on his face. Are you really, 15 minutes? You haven't refined chakra before? Kakashi asked softly. My family used to farm before, there was no chakra extraction method. Jingyun Kamiya shook his head and said, it was indeed from the beginning. Kakashi's mouth twitched twice, feeling like he couldn't show off anything in front of this classmate in the future. So, how did you extract it? Teach me, why didn't I feel anything? Yuzhibo Daitu also leaned in. Actually, there were many who came in, but Jingyun from Shingu only knew Yuzhibo Daitu. When he first introduced himself, he was wandering around and didn't listen carefully. I think it's probably because you have too many distractions in your heart and can't fully focus on your body. Jingyun Kamiya thought for a moment and replied, as long as your mind stabilizes, you should be able to succeed immediately. He didn't say it randomly, but that's what Hano Jiha said just now. He just changed the word order of what Hano Jiha said and said it again. I see. Sure enough, the protagonists in the hot-blooded manga are all idiots, and Yujibo didn't even recognize them. Isn't this the same as what the teacher said? Someone said disdainfully. Yes, I learned from the teacher's words. Jingyun Shingu nodded naturally. Wow, The classmate's mouth twitched. I'm starting to hate you. Jingyun Shingu shrugged his shoulders. The fact is, I didn't lie or hide anything. So what should I do? End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Practicing is really interesting. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Practicing is really interesting. Hokage, Hokage Lord. Hokage's office building, Hino Jiha ran in and after a notification, opened the door to the office. So it's Teacher Hey, it's not time to report yet. Today, first grade just entered school, you should be teaching chakra extraction. Sandai held a scroll in his hand, smoking a cigarette, frowning. Huiying, the village chief, is not so much a high-ranking and influential person, but rather someone who can handle everything from nose to eyebrows. He has to take care of big and small matters, even if the pig from the Li family runs into old Wang's field and digs cabbage. But as if thinking of something, the third generation suddenly stopped writing and said, "Wait, isn't it? That's right, there's a genius." Hino Shiga handed over a file with an excited expression. This student, after I taught chakra extraction, successfully extracted chakra in just 15 minutes. The third generation was taken aback. Wait, are you sure it's 15 minutes, not 150 minutes? 150 minutes, which is 2.5 hours, is only 1 hour when converted to hours. Being able to extract chakras within an hour is already considered a genius among geniuses. 3 generations of adults, it's not even 150 minutes until the start of school, said Shiga Heino. That's true. Third generation frowned, but 15 minutes, it's really unbelievable. He took the file and looked at it, quickly remembering who it was. He can't remember ordinary civilians, but this family is somewhat unique. The Kamiya family is a Shinto family that worships the Inawa god in the Fire Kingdom. They have a main lineage in the Fire Kingdom, and other cities and villages also have their own branches. This Kamiya family did not come from the same family, but rather changed their surname to Kamiya after a certain period of time due to the worship of the Inawa god. Before changing their surnames were actually diverse. This Kamiya family originally had nothing to do with Kiba, as well water does not invade river water. However, due to the war, some villages had to be relocated to other cities. After the relocation, the Kamiya family in that village became useless. After all, there were already Kamiya families in the city and there was no place for them. Therefore, the small family followed the Konoha ninjas to settle in Kyoha village. There are actually many examples of this, and the same situation applies to Kanyuki Kanyuki's classmate Kanyuki. There are 4 members in this family, including father Hiramiya Kamiya, mother Ayumi Kamiya, sister, who was originally the witch of the shrine, Miya Kamiya, and finally Kamiya Jingyun. Nowadays, the Kamiya family makes a living by farming. Kamiya used to be a herbalist, but now she works as a nurse at the Kiba hospital. As for Kamiya Sanyi, she is idle at home. Kiba conducts annual tests on eligible children and recently discovered that Kamiya Kagiyan has the talent to become a ninja, so he enrolled in school. Having a clean family background, clear veins, and transparent background are the things that 3 generations value the most, followed by talent. Well, although this child has an amazing talent. Ninja schools have always had the habit of promoting geniuses to Hokage. During times of war, they prepare excellent ninjas to lead the team in ninjas, while during non-war periods, they allow geniuses to stay in school longer and delay their graduation to ensure their safe growth. Dashi Maru, Zi Lia, Bo Feng Shui Men, and Chi Mu Shua Mao are all products of this system. Now there is an additional Divine Valley scenery. Pay more attention. Sandai thought for a moment and said, if you have any other discoveries, please report them to me again. A genius who comes from a commoner background and knows the root and bottom, as long as the will of the fire passes, the future is destined to be a staunch supporter of the Hokage faction. However, currently it's just that a chakra has a fast refining speed, which in a sense represents the body's adaptability to chakra. But what if this child only has this talent, and if he can't wield a sword, fight, or learn the three-body technique? Although the possibility is unlikely, it is still possible. The third generation cannot inspire others just because of this talent. It can only be said that they should pay more attention and see his future performance. What worries him now is another matter. Kamiya Jingyun has little interest in pretending to be forced, mainly surrounded by a group of 5 or 6-year-old kids, and even 4-year-old ones. What's the point of pretending to force them? It's better to study chakra. He doesn't have much knowledge about chakra, but he knows a lot about internal skills, magic, and so on. In his opinion, it should be something similar. This thing should have been studied by specialized people, but Jingyun Shingu is only a primary school student and cannot access the corresponding information, so he can only explore it himself first. He found that after the chakra condensed, it was not static. As long as it was not used, it would slowly revert back to its original 2 types of energy and then dissipate in the body. So, every time I use it, I still have to use chakra refining technique to extract chakra first. Jingyun Shingu pondered. It takes 15 minutes to extract a chakra. If there is really a battle or something, maybe it's because the chakra was not extracted and the person died first. So, why is it not like internal energy, which can be stored in the body all the time? It seems that I have never heard of anyone who said that chakras have been around for decades. Is it because chakras can disperse? Jingyun Shingu thought for a moment and tried to extract chakras again. Perhaps because of his experience, this time it was very fast. As soon as the seal was formed, he felt the convergence of 2 energies, and then chakra was born. Well, about 3 seconds, it seems that 15 minutes is probably due to the first time. Going from scratch is always the most difficult, and this refining speed can be improved based on proficiency. If you continue to exercise, maybe as long as the seal is good, the chakra will come out of your body without any delay. Jingyun Shingu thought for a moment, although using chakra in this way is good, it is still not as effective as storing it like internal energy. Because if I use it now, it means I only have 1 day of chakras, but if I can store it, I can have chakras for 30 years. You can give it a try later. Shingu Jingyun is not worried about not being able to learn. He has a natural way of repaying diligence, and this talent is equally effective in creation. As long as Shingu Jingyun wants to create a method and works hard, he can definitely create it. I just don't know if the talent is great or the logic is great. If the talent is great, then it is also possible for Jingyun Shingu to create skills that do not conform to logic, such as being 100% caught with bare hands. But if the logic is big, then the skills created by oneself will automatically adapt to the logic, which means that what he creates will have universality, which can be used by himself and learned by others. This is all about the future. Shingu Jingyun doesn't have much understanding of meridians now, and he has no way to start creating. He can only continue to exercise first. There are 2 projects that he can exercise. One is seal making. Although he only knows how to make 1 seal, it still takes time from empty-handed to making a seal due to manual labor. The second one is the chakra refining technique. There is still a 3-second delay for chakra to be born after it is sealed, and he wants to work hard to the point where there is no delay. It's best to extract chakras without even needing to seal them, otherwise they will know you need to use chakras as soon as you seal them, and there will definitely be precautions. He thought it should be a slow process, but he didn't know if his talent was really good or if the rewards of hard work were too great. In less than a minute, he became completely proficient in this fingerprint. In less than 5 minutes, he tried more than 140 times, and the chakra could be extracted without delay. Then, just follow that feeling and extract the chakra without imprinting. This time, it still didn't take much time. In less than 10 minutes, Jingyun Shingu can achieve the birth of chakra in just 1 thought. Tisk, practicing is really interesting. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Curious Children. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Curious Children. Hino Shiga will be back soon, mainly because the ninja school is very close to the Hokage office building and can be seen as soon as he turns his head. Ahem. He clapped his hands first. Wow, teacher, what are you doing? I almost succeeded. Yujibwa said with great displeasure. Well, chakra refining is not in a hurry. From now on, we will have 1 hour of study time every morning. Now, you, come with me to move the books, and the rest can be done after class. He pointed to 2 students, the one sitting at the door, whose voices had just finished when the bell rang for the end of class. The other students immediately stood up, and many people went out to play. Some also gathered around Jingyun Shingu. Shingu Jingyun, have you really extracted chakra? Yeah. Jingyun Shingu nodded. Wow, you're so amazing. You're such a genius, exclaimed the classmate, who was the girl with a painted face. She looked lively and cheerful, with a wild girl-like vibe. So, is it a genius to extract chakras in 15 minutes? Jingyun Kamiya asked. Of course, I used it for 4 days, said the wild girl. By the way, my name is Inazuka Flower. So, have you been trying continuously these 4 days? Jingyun Kamiya asked again, or just practicing for a while every day? Ah, this. Inazuka was taken aback for a moment. How could anyone ask such a question? Isn't that right? My father said that children are not mentally strong enough and can only practice for 3 hours a day. Inazuka thought for a moment and nodded again. That's right, that's it. So, you didn't learn it in 4 days, you learned it in 12 hours. Jingyun Kamiya nodded. Oh, can we still explain it this way? Inazuka was taken aback for a moment, then excitedly patted Jingyun Kamiya's shoulder. That's right, that's right. I've only been using it for 12 hours, and at first glance, the gap between me and Kakashi isn't that big. Kakashi didn't know what expression it was, after all, there was a mask blocking it. So, Kazuka is a child of the family, taking 12 hours. She said Kakashi is very powerful. Kakashi takes 2 hours, so 15 minutes, which is probably very powerful. Jingyun Kamiya probably had a rough understanding of her talent. After all, he is a college student who has received modern education. The learning process will not be naive, and it is impossible for him to have a situation where he is very skilled but not aware of it. On the contrary, he has his own methods for evaluating his learning and progress. However, due to the small sample size, he cannot provide more accurate data yet and can only make a rough estimate. Here comes the book. The 2 children at the door came in holding a stack of books and then distributed them to everyone one by one. Kamiya Jingyun took it over and took a look. He originally thought it was a book about chakra, but it turned out to be 500 Mongolian characters in the Kingdom of Fire, which was designed for children to recognize characters. He is so familiar with this book. He was transported by his soul and has his own consciousness and memory since he was born. But he doesn't understand Japanese, and due to his mother tongue, his progress in learning Japanese is far behind those newborns. He has been reading this book for over 3 years. Opening it up and looking at it, unfortunately, this is the official literacy textbook issued by the Fire Kingdom, which is no different from the one at his home. So, do I have to learn this again? It's a waste of time, Jingyun Shingu thought as the class bell had already rung. It's still Shiga Heino who came. He really started teaching children how to read. To be reasonable, it's not a problem. It's normal for a group of 4 or 5-year-old children to be illiterate. Alright, I'll continue studying chakra. Jingyun Kamiya shook his head. He was about to memorize this book, so he naturally didn't need to learn it anymore. Chakra is still interesting, extraordinary power. You should know that Chinese people have grown up reading martial arts and immortal novels since childhood. Who hasn't had any illusions about internal skills or true qi? Although chakra is not true chi, it doesn't make much difference in the appearance of Shingu Jinyun. It is all energy that exists within the body and can be controlled by spirit. Of course, we need to study it carefully, extract a chakra and control it to swim around. Firstly, he found that this thing felt very unfamiliar to himself, like hooking a shark with a fishing rod. The strength was too small, the object was too large, and he couldn't fish at all. After separating it a little bit, it was easy to control, and Jinyun Kamiya could control him to swim around inside his body. Then he realized that this chakra was not something that could wander around casually. There were paths within his body specifically for chakra to walk, similar to the meridians in martial arts novels. However, these meridians are naturally interconnected, unlike those in martial arts novels that require connection. However, meridians can be thick and thin, and some of them can easily pass through with their chakra-like flow. Some are stagnant and cannot enter, while others are pitifully small and can be ignored if not careful. He was having a great time, almost drawing the chakra meridian diagram inside his body, and the bell outside rang again. Alright, class is over. The first day of school starts today, and there are no classes in the afternoon. However, starting from tomorrow, there will be classes in the afternoon. So when you come to school, remember to bring your lunchbox, or else you can bring money to buy outside, shouted Hinoshiga. Wow, school's over. There is no student who doesn't love school. As soon as he finished speaking, a group of children rushed out. Kamiya Jinyun saw that Hinoshiga was about to leave, so he quickly collected the book and chased after him. Along the way, he followed Hino into the office. Hino put down his book and looked at Kanagawa Kagiyan, gently asking, "Kanagawa Kagiyan, what's up with you?" "Well, I have some questions for you, teacher." Jinyun Shingu said honestly. "Oh." Hino was taken aback. It was just his first day at school, and the students had a problem. Not bad, not bad. There's no teacher who doesn't like students who love to ask questions. Come on, sit down. Hino pulled a chair for Kamiya Jinyun, which was designed for adults to sit on. After Kamiya Jinyun sat on it, his legs were still more than 10 centimeters above the ground. "What do you want to ask?" "Is there anything I don't understand about what I just talked about?" asked Hino. "Well, I can extract chakra in 15 minutes. Is this really impressive?" Jinyun Kamiya asked. He couldn't collect enough samples, but Hino is a teacher who has taught so many students, so he should have enough samples. For a moment, Hino nodded and said, "That's right, it's very impressive. Or rather, since I entered ninja school and now I've been a teacher, you're the most impressive student and classmate I've ever met." He originally wanted to suppress it, but then remembered that the student's desk mate was Kakashi. Kakashi is a genius full of wood leaves, and Kanzuya Kanagawa may not have heard of him as a commoner family before, but as long as we spend some time together, we should know. It took 2 hours for a genius like Kakashi to do so. Who would be insulted if you said Jinyun Kamiya is not a genius? However, the fact that the speed of refining chakras is fast does not necessarily mean anything. I have seen many people who refine chakras slowly become upper ninjas, but on the contrary, many who are fast have not been able to grow up. Therefore, you must not be proud. A momentary genius does not represent anything, continued Hino. Kamiya Jinyun nodded, he just wanted to confirm. So, do you have anything else you want to ask? Hino thought, it should be gone. Oh, there is. Jinyun Kamiya quickly spoke up, I just tried it out. Why is it difficult to move chakra? This. Hino said, this doesn't seem like a question that can be asked in first grade. In fact, Sasuke Sakura, a top student, never expected such a problem even in 6th grade. The main reason is that there is no comparison. If you don't know what fast and slow are, you will naturally feel that this situation in your body is normal. Well, it's because you just refined the chakra and lack control over it. Hino Shiga thought for a moment, but still said. Chakra control. Jinyan Kamiya said clearly, so can this kind of thing be exercised? This is still too early for you, said Hino Jiha. In first grade, it's not even time to learn this. Teacher, just teach me. I have a sense of propriety, but if I can't use it, I don't need to. Jinyan Kamiya lay on the table, looking pitifully at Shiga Hino. The Shingu family is in charge of sacrificial ceremonies and holds a high position in the town. When a family gets married, they naturally won't marry any crooked melons or split dates. However, with the genetic optimization of beautiful girls from generation to generation, the genes of the Shingu family are naturally not bad. Shingu Jingyun has straight eyebrows and eyes, red lips and white teeth, and large and lively eyes. This move has a great killing power on young girls and women. Hino Jiha can withstand it, because he is a ninja. It's not that I didn't tell you, but this exercise method has a certain level of danger. Without advanced ninja supervision, it's dangerous, said Shiga Hino. The exercise method is to climb trees and step on water. Climbing trees requires climbing trees several tens of meters high. What are the results of a 4 or 5-year-old child falling from such a high place? Even if there is a cushion underneath, it may not be able to withstand it. Stepping on water is not to mention. As chakra consumes more, his physical strength will also decrease. If he falls into the water and has no strength to come out, will he drown? Okay. Jingyun Shingu nodded, but it's okay. If you don't teach, I'll find a way to learn on my own. Teacher, I still have a question. Jinyan Kamiya continued, I found that my chakra can wander around along a network, so what is that? End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Kamiya Family. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Kamiya Family. This is called the chakra meridian, which is the channel through which chakra flows in the body. So this channel, alright, Jingyun Shingu. The other kids are almost home now. If you're still at school, your family might be worried. Let's finish school today and come back later when you have time to ask, okay? Wait, teacher. I still want to ask. Being pushed out of the office, Jingyun Kamiya felt a bit speechless. He had accumulated a lot of problems, but now it seems like he knows something, and he doesn't know anything. I know two terms, chakra control and chakra meridians. Okay, let's go back first and ask again when there's a chance. Running all the way to the school gate, Jingyun from Shingu saw a young girl wearing a dark purple kimono standing at the school gate, waiting for someone. Sister. Jingyun Shingu shouted, here. What did you do at school? I think the other kids have already come out. Sanyi of Kamiya pulled Jingyun's arm and said, this is Muyi. Don't treat this place as our hometown. Is there anything special about the leaves of wood? Asked Jingyun Shingu. Well, said Sanyi of Shingu in silence. If there were differences, there must be differences, but she didn't know exactly where they were different. Well, the people in this village are going out to fight. I heard someone has died recently, said Sanyi of Shingu in a low voice. Ah. Jingyun Shingu said speechlessly, there's a war going on outside, but Kiba is going to send troops. It's normal for the dead to die, isn't it? This time it's different. It seems like it involves a big shot. Sanyi of Kamiya grabbed Jingyun of Kamiya and said, Dad said we should stay outside less during this time. Oh, Jingyun Kamiya thought for a moment, big shot, who is that? Oh, I don't know the plot, then it's okay. Since he was being led by his sister, he was not afraid to take the wrong path, so he decided to try to continue refining the chakra. Moving and sitting are indeed different. When he is sitting, he can extract chakras in a blink of an eye, but when he walks, he is not as stable. He tried several times but was unable to succeed. But in the end, there was someone who was willing to help, and after walking 2 streets, he finally succeeded in refining it. It took nearly 12 minutes, but surprisingly, it was only a little faster than extracting chakras from scratch. With a successful experience, it became much easier afterwards. By the time he arrived at his doorstep, he was able to extract chakras as quickly as he could while sitting. "We're back!" Sanyi of Shingu shouted, and the two of them entered the yard. Their house is a typical one-household building, with a small courtyard that is only 1.5 meters wide and 4 meters long after entering. Some flowers and plants are planted in the courtyard. Further inside is a 2-story small building, with 1 bedroom, 1 living room, and 1 bathroom on the lower floor. There are 4 rooms on the upper floor, 2 of which are the bedrooms of Jingyun and Sanyi of Shingu. There are also 2, one is a storage room, and the other is vacant. There is also a backyard behind the house, which has a larger space of 2 meters wide and 4 meters long. It is also planted with some flowers and plants, and can be used to hang clothes. Kamiya Hiroshi was sitting on the sofa in the living room, reading a book when he heard the two of them enter. Kamiya Hiroshi turned his head and asked, "Jingyun, have you ever heard of Kiba Hakata at school?" "Who is that?" Jingyun Shingu thought for a moment and shook his head. "I haven't heard of it. I haven't heard of it." Hiramiya Kamiya sighed. "It's good if I haven't heard of it. In school, if someone asks you this question, that's how you answer it." "What happened?" Jingyun Kamiya was a little curious. "Is this a nickname, Kiba Baya? What's wrong with this person?" "It's nothing, just a foolish political struggle." Hiroshi Kamiya shook his head. "But we're just farmers now, so you don't have to worry so much." Oh. Jingyun Shingu nodded and looked at Sanyi Shingu. "Is this the big shot you mentioned?" Shingu Sanyi nodded, but dared not speak. The Fire Kingdom has always prioritized men over women. She used to be a witch and had some status, but after moving to Kiba, the only way left was to get married, so she naturally had no status at all. Come, the food is here." Shingu-e came out of the kitchen carrying the food and said, "The price of grain for Muyi has stabilized recently. I specially bought more meat. Jingyun needs to grow taller now, eat more." "Yes." Jingyun Shingu saw that Haoming Shingu's face was not very good. "This is normal. After the war ends, the price of grain naturally becomes cheaper. Their family has rented a large piece of land, and as the price of this grain decreases, the money they can earn naturally decreases. But he only keeps this kind of thing to himself and won't tell his family." "How are you doing at ninja school?" Hiroshi Kamiya asked. "Not bad, the teacher said I have a good talent." Jingyun Kamiya replied. "That's good." Hiroshi Kamiya nodded and said, "If you can become a ninja and marry a ninja to spread the branches and leaves, our Kamiya family may not be able to become a ninja family." Jingyun Shingu nodded silently, seeing that the food was almost ready. He and his sister clasped their hands together and said, "I'm moving." Then a storm swept through the clouds. After finishing his meal, Haoming Kamiya went out and didn't know what to do. Kamiya was busy finishing his clothes, and Mitsuha Kamiya gently pulled on Jingyun Kamiya. The two of them went to the upstairs bedroom. "What's wrong with you?" As soon as Kamiya Jingyun entered the door, he saw Kamiya Mitsuha covered in low pressure. "My father is going to marry me off." Sanyi Kamiya looked aggrieved and said, "Now that you're in a ninja school, maybe it won't be long before you can become a ninja. Can you help me persuade my father? I'm only 12 years old and I don't want to get married yet." "Damn it." Kamiya Jingyun even resorted to cursing, getting married at the age of 12. This is really a beast, isn't it? You're cursing your father again. Sanyi Kamiya was speechless. "It's okay, he can't understand anyway." Jingyun Shingu didn't care at all. "Besides, do I still scold him less?" Kamiya Hiroshi is a traditional Japanese parent who holds a high position in the family. Kamiya clothing is only used for cooking, and his family members are not qualified to ask where he goes, who he plays with, or what he does on weekdays. Xingu Sanyi and Xingu Jingyun have little status at home, they are just children. Who would care about what they say and what their thoughts are? Especially Jingyun Kamiya, who couldn't learn Japanese in his early years and was regarded as a fool, left a deep impression on Hiroshi Kamiya. He has always been raised by Sanya Kanaya, and as a result, he learned Japanese and Sanya Kanaya learned Mandarin. Later on, Jingyun Xingu also tried to communicate with Haoming Xingu. He had a wealth of modern knowledge, and even a little exposure could lift his family out of poverty, so why bother farming? As a result, Haoming Kamiya didn't listen at all, and with just a little fart, the child pushed Kamiya Jingyun back. From this, Jingyun Xingu also understood that this person was an unreasonable old stubborn person, and in future communication, he would only know how to. His biggest goal was to grow as soon as possible and then leave this family to start his own business. As for now, he added another goal to help his sister escape the fire pit. He is not a romantic sister. If there were really good young people, he would be happy for his sister to tie the knot with them, but the key is that Sanyi from Kamiya is only 12 years old and married to someone with yarn. Do you know who he wants to marry you to? Jingyun Xingu asked. It is said to be a person named Jitsuan Jian, from the Jitsuan family, who is a ninja. However, he broke his leg during the war, said Sanya Kamiya, suddenly feeling something was wrong. What are you asking this for? What do you want? Has the engagement and wedding date been set yet? Jingyun Xingu asked. That's not true, it's said to be still under discussion, said Sanyi of Xingu. Kamiya Jingyun frowned. How can I stop this kind of thing? If I were 18 years old, I would naturally have the voice at home to prevent this marriage. If I were 8 years old, I would be considered a renowned genius in ninja school. When I think of it, there will be many people who want to marry my genius sister. A broken leg ninja would not have much competitiveness. But I'm only 5 years old now. I'm in first grade, only a day into school, and I don't have much fame yet. If they get married within 3 to 5 days, sister, is the voice of ninjas very high? Jingyun Kamiya suddenly thought of a question. His sister is very beautiful and was raised as a witch from a young age. She is not only knowledgeable and rational, but also proficient in brewing, singing and dancing, and several musical instruments. Under the influence of Xingu Jingyun, she even writes well. Such an excellent girl, in her previous life in China, was at the level of a goddess. Even in the Fire Kingdom, marrying a nobleman is not a problem. How can I only marry a lame ninja when I reach Kiba? This is indeed very high. Kiba is a village formed by the ninja family, and these families enjoy noble treatment in the Fire Kingdom. I heard that there is a ninja named Tsunade who was even crowned as a princess, said Sanya Kamiya. Although she didn't have a job at Kiba, due to her identity as a girl, she easily infiltrated one of Kiba's highest-level intelligence agencies. The Kiba Girls Shopping Group. These girls are very well informed. How about you also become a ninja? Jingyun Kamiya asked again. Ah, me. Mitsuha Kamiya was taken aback. No, I don't have that qualification. Besides, becoming a ninja requires talent. You are my sister, and we all have the same bloodline flowing through our bodies. I have talent, and you have no reason, said Jingyun Kamiya. Well, but I'm already 12 years old. Sanyi from Xingu shook his head and said, look at your ninja school, don't you all start practicing at the age of 4 or 5? No, LV Dongbin entered the Taoist realm at 40, and Wang Chongyang only began practicing martial arts at 40.5. It's never too late to practice such things. Xingu Jingyun pressed Xingu Sanyi onto the bed. Cross-legged, close your eyes, I'll teach you the chakra extraction technique. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Teach 3 leaves to practice. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 Teach 3 Leaves to Practice. Senyi from Shingu has a foundation in meditation due to her upbringing. But to her surprise, after obtaining the fingerprint and chakra extraction technique, she successfully extracted the chakra in just 40 minutes. Faster than that so-called genius Kakashi. Me, did I succeed? Senyi of Kamiya excitedly felt the energy inside her body. Is this the root of the ninja's superiority? Now, I also have it. Don't be proud, calm down, calm down. Your ability to extract chakras so quickly should be due to your age, said Jinyan Kamiya. After all, the teacher said that chakras are formed by the fusion of spiritual and physical energy. A 12-year-old child is definitely better developed than a 5-year-old child, with more physical and mental energy. Combined with the meditation training that Sanya Kamiya had previously undergone, she was able to enter a state of meditation early on, which resulted in her being able to successfully extract chakras in 40 minutes. If she had been refining chakras since the age of 5, it would have been fast, but not in just 40 minutes. No, you only took 15 minutes. I'm not proud to be in front of you. Shinaga Mitsuba looked at Gu Jingyun with a white expression. She had an oval face, with long black hair tucked back and tied with a red ribbon. Her big eyes were full of excitement at this moment. Her neck was white and slender, and the slender collarbone under her collar was faintly visible. Her chest was slightly raised, making her look beautiful and lively. Unlike the Yamato-style girls taught by conventional families. Shingu Jingyun quickly gathered his mind and said, "All right, continue practicing. You can scatter the chakra, then refine it, scatter it, and refine it again. You need to be proficient enough not to seal it, and in just one thought, you can condense the chakra." As it was about her future, Senyi of Shingu naturally put in a lot of effort and immediately tried. Shingu Jingyun sighed and sat down on the floor. Is that enough? He doesn't know either, but he thinks it shouldn't be possible. After all, that person lost a leg due to war. What if he had made contributions on the battlefield? Will this kind of meritorious person, if their proposal is rejected, make other Konoha ninjas feel cold? When the time comes, these Konoha ninjas will unite against each other. How can the Kamiya family survive in Konoha? So, the safest way should be to kill the person. Whether it's Kamiya Mitsuba or Shimura Kenji, as long as one dies, naturally this marriage won't be possible. He can't kill Kamiya Mitsuba, he can only choose to kill Shimura Kenji. As for killing, will there be any psychological barriers? If it's killing the people of the country, Jingyun Shingu has it, but in this world, he doesn't even have much emotional attachment to Kamiya Hiramiya and Kamiya Yoshi. In this world, the only person who has feelings for him is Kamiya Mitsuba, who has brought him from childhood to adulthood and can speak the same language as him. Strength, the most important thing is strength. They are people who have been on the battlefield, and as a primary school student, I want to kill someone. It's just fantastic. Jingyun Kamiya shook his head and began to ponder how to enhance his strength. First of all, it still falls on chakra. After all, that Shimura Kenji is a ninja and must have mastered this kind of thing. Dad once said to use chakra to deal with chakra. Chakra control, chakra meridians. Kamiya Jingyun decided to start from scratch. After all, as long as chakra control is strong, maybe those subtle meridians can also penetrate. As for the purpose of penetrating, he will know after drilling. As for how to exercise chakra's control, it's very simple. Imagine, shape. This is a practice mentioned in many novels, but it is an internal skill that is released outside the body and then constructed into various shapes such as birds and rabbits. However, this one is inside the body. The chakra in his body is now a clump without any shape, but if he has enough control over it, can he shape it into the shape of a rabbit, pig, Kelly, or Kaching? More finely, it can shape hair and eyes. Even more delicate, even internal organs and blood vessels can be shaped. Just like 3D modeling, his current level is at the level of 3 years of animation. As long as he evolves to the level of Disney, Pixar Studios, or Mystery Technology, it naturally means that his control over chakra has reached a very high level. Do whatever you say. Starting from the simplest, pinch the shape of a rabbit. He doesn't know if the orthodox practice of chakra control is practiced this way, but it doesn't matter. He has a natural talent for hard work, and as long as he exercises, he will grow and never lose. What shape does a rabbit have? Forget it, let's change the target. Shingu Jingyun opened his eyes, looked around, and then saw Shingu Sanyi sitting on his bed, practicing with his eyes closed. A bright young girl, as bright as a fairy. Just you. First, shape a human form. Shingu Jingyun found it difficult, and it took him a long time to barely gather chakra. But as long as there is progress, it means it is feasible. Then, pinch it into any shape. Then, start making clothes step by step. Kamiya Jingyun felt as if he had returned to his college years. In order to earn extra money, he started making MMD videos. Later, he disliked public modeling and started self-learning modeling. Although later on, due to busy work in the project team, I had little time to play MMD again, but my past skills did not fall behind. He pinched it bit by bit until at some moment his eyes turned black. When I lowered my head, I fainted. After a long time, when he woke up, he found himself already lying in bed. Wake up. Sanye's voice rang out, I saw you fell asleep. I put you up. Shingu Jingyun rubbed his temples, feeling as if he had woken up from a hangover of 2 pounds of fake wine, with a severe headache. This sister is also kind-hearted. I'm not sleeping, I'm fainting. However, what is the principle? Is there too much mental loss? No wonder the teacher said that exercising chakra control requires adult ninja supervision. However, he didn't know that simply practicing chakra's control would only consume chakra. He lost his spirit because the law of heaven rewards diligence. Look at your hoarse voice, come on, drink some water, said Sanyi from Shingu, bringing another bowl of water and supporting Jingyun from Shingu. Thank you. Leaning in my sister's arms, Shingu Jingyun lost a sip of water and felt much better. What time is it? He asked. 4:30 p.m. said Sanyi of Shingu. Oh. Jingyun Kamiya nodded, closed his eyes, and sensed chakra. I've been practicing so hard that I've fainted. If you don't have any effect, then you can't justify it. Extracting the chakra and attempting to drive it, he immediately sensed the change. He moved Chakrana before, calling him a desperate man who can move, but can only move a little flexibly. But now, the entire chakra can move under his command, although it's still quite challenging, compared to before, it's simply much easier. Previously, I pulled a cow, but now, I've almost pulled a pig. This kind of exercise is effective. Jingyun Kamiya became excited, but soon realized that this exercise method was a bit exhausting, and felt very uncomfortable. Wait, if I lose my spirit, then I will strengthen my spirit. Jingyun Shingu remembered again, the way of heaven rewards diligence in creating methods also has bonuses. I just need to create a meditation idea that can strengthen and restore my spirit, and then I can solve the problem of fainting caused by cultivation. By the way, sister, how are you doing with your cultivation? Jingyun Shingu asked. Now you can condense chakras with just one seal, but it's difficult to condense chakras without a seal, only occasionally can you succeed, said Sanya Kamiya. Don't worry, take your time. Jingyun Shingu comforted. Sure enough, there is a big difference between having and not having a natural reward for diligence. He only completed this exercise in one class time at the time, while his sister took an afternoon and still hasn't achieved it. After you can extract the chakra in a blink of an eye, the next step is to extract it while walking. You can try this while shopping outside. As for the next step, I feel like it's running, and you can also extract the chakra at any time during battles. Sanya Kamiya nodded repeatedly. She trusted this brother very much, and others thought he was stupid, but Sanya Kamiya always knew that this brother was a genius. What he said has always been right. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Creating Dark Thoughts. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 8 Creating Dark Thoughts. The two exchanged their cultivation experiences for a while, and it was already past 5 o'clock. The Divine Valley clothes had already started cooking below. At this point, there was no way to cultivate, so the two of them decided to go downstairs and wait for dinner to begin. At around 6 o'clock, Hiramiya Kamiya also returned, but he was drunk and full of alcohol. Head of the household, you are. Shingu-yi's face looked a bit unpleasant. Are you still eating? I've eaten it, you can eat it yourself. Hiroshi Kamiya waved his hand and went to sleep on his own. Kamiya sighed and greeted the two children to eat. The two siblings were very happy to eat, mainly because Hiroshi Kamiya was not by their side. After finishing their meal, the two returned to the room of Jingyun in Shingu. This room is a bit small, let's tidy up the vacant room next to it and turn back to practice in that room, said Jingyun Shingu. Mainly, there is only one bed here, which feels strange. Okay, tomorrow you go to school, I'll go organize it. When you come back, I'll have already organized it, said Sanyi from Kamiya. Jingyun Shingu nodded. The two of them closed their eyes and began to practice independently. Before Shingu Sanyi could grasp the mind movement, he extracted chakras, while Shingu Jingyun was thinking of creating the idea of the underworld. Meditation is just being calm and composed, but meditation has different thoughts. An excellent meditation technique should have the following effects. 1. Stay calm and composed. 2. Restore the spirit. 3. Strengthen the spirit. Kamiya Jingyun believes that since there is spiritual power in this world, there should be a way to cultivate spiritual power, that is, the concept of meditation. However, he comes from a commoner background and does not have such a method. He just doesn't know whether the school teaches or not, but it doesn't matter if the school doesn't teach. Create it yourself. He is not without foundation either. The Taoist Qing Jing Jing is just a meditation, but due to history and war, many things may have been lost. In various novels, the concept of contemplation is mentioned in the area of contemplation, and both contemplation and contemplation have always been binary, such as the concept of Nyuwa contemplation and the concept of pagoda contemplation. Shingu Jingyun can create meditation based on the Qing Jing Jing and combined with the visualization method. Generally speaking, things that are imagined should possess great supernatural powers. For example, if you imagine Nyuwa, you can receive the blessing of Nyuwa's power. But there is no portrait of Nyuwa in Jingyun of Shingu. The protagonist of this world is Gundam, but Gundam has not yet been born. But he has another thing, the Lotus of the World. The Lotus of the World is the lotus flower that blooms when the seed of the world is in full bloom. Since it is a flower that absorbs the power of the world and can carry the secrets of the world, Jingyun Kamiya believes that this flower must have extraordinary abilities. And whether it is Taoism or Buddhism, the status of lotus is not ordinary. Even when Pangu created heaven and earth, he stepped on a lotus flower on his feet. So, imagine this lotus, there must be no problem. Another important point is that the lotus of the world is not something of this world, so in the future, if others do not have their own permission, they will not be able to learn this method. Strong confidentiality. He closed his eyes and began to silently recite in his heart. The great road is intangible, giving birth to heaven and earth. The great road is merciless, running the sun and moon. The great way is nameless, nurturing all things. I don't know its name, but its strong name is Tao. Master Tao. There is clarity and turbidity, there is movement and stillness. The sky is clear and the earth is turbid. The sky is moving, the earth is calm. Men are clear and women are turbid. Men are active and women are quiet, descending the origin and passing the end, giving birth to all things. Clear is the source of turbidity, moving is the foundation of stillness. People can always be quiet, and heaven and earth return. Madam's mind is clear, but her heart is troubled. The human heart is peaceful, yet it desires to be pulled. Often able to satisfy one's desires, yet the heart remains calm. Clarify one's heart, while the mind clears itself, the 6 desires of nature do not arise, and the 3 poisons are eliminated. So for those who cannot, their hearts are not clear, and their desires are not sent, those who can be dispatched. Observe their hearts internally, but their hearts do not have their hearts. The appearance has its own shape, but the shape has no other shape. Looking at things from afar, there are no other things. The 3 are both enlightened and can only be seen in emptiness. Observing emptiness is also emptiness. Emptiness has no emptiness. There is neither emptiness nor emptiness. There is nothing, neither is there, and Genran is always silent. Silence without rest. How can desire be born? Desire is neither born nor quiet. Truly responding to things, truly acquiring nature, always be quiet, always be quiet. So quiet, gradually entering the true path, entering the true Tao. It is called the Tao. Although the name is right, there is actually no gain. To transform sentient beings, the name is Dao. Those who can comprehend can preach the holy way. While silently reciting, strive to build a lotus flower in your spirit. This is different from the previous visualization, because the chakra is a real existence, and his visualization has a definite object that can be shaped. But now, he doesn't know if the meditation world exists, nor does he know if visualization can succeed. All he can do is believe in the way of heaven rewards diligence. He did not realize that the originally dry and quiet scripture, as he slowly recited, began to have a special tone. In that pitch-black spiritual world, a chaotic lotus with red and white colors was slowly emerging, a quiet, natural, ethereal aura that carries all things, from nothing to something, from weak to strong, begins to emanate from the divine valley Jingyun. Sanyi from the nearby Xingu was already a bit restless. She had long mastered the ability to instantly extract chakras after sealing, but without sealing, she was unable to succeed in producing chakras. She has been trying all afternoon. But on second thought, this was excitement related to my future, so I gritted my teeth and persevered. Suddenly, a peaceful aura drifted from Xingu Jingyun beside her, and for some reason, her heart suddenly calmed down. Then, in the blink of an eye, chakra was born smoothly in his body without any hesitation. I succeeded. After working hard all afternoon, Sanyi should have been very excited, but now she feels her emotions are very calm. Just like an outsider, looking at their chakra, sensing its changes, movement, dissipation, transforming into 2 streams of energy, and then merging into their body. Opening her eyes, Sanyi looked curiously at her younger brother beside her with a pair of beautiful eyes. She stood up silently and moved away, as if crossing a certain threshold. The suppressed excitement in her body immediately surged, and she even wanted to hug her younger brother and share the joy of her success with him. But taking another step forward, she felt as if her recent achievement was not a big deal, and she should maintain a calm mind. Is it because of you, younger brother? Sanyi felt this change in surprise. It was obvious that this change in mood was due to her younger brother Jingyun. Is this the charm of ninjutsu? It's like a deity. Even more so than a deity. Sanyi was surprised, and my thought was completely outrageous. I am the most loyal witch of Inawa god. How could I have such blasphemous thoughts? However, Sanyi unconsciously remembered what Jingyun had said before. There has never been a savior, nor has there been a divine emperor to rely on. The rice lotus god cannot change my future, but Jingyun can. Think about the incredible phenomena on Jingyun again. He shouldn't be some deity who came down to earth. Sanyi sat down, propped her chin up with her hand, and curiously looked at her younger brother. Who could it be? In the heavenly palace. Jinyu Thunder God. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Quiet White Lotus Sutra. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9 Quiet White Lotus Sutra. Oops, whoa. Oops, whoa. Xingu Jingyun was awakened by the sound of roosters. At this moment, the sky was just slightly bright, and the bright moonlight shone through the windowsill, making the whole room appear somewhat hazy. He saw his sister kneeling on the ground, as if she was asleep. "What's the problem? I sleep on the floor in the afternoon, and you sleep on the floor at night." Jingyun Shingu gets up and wants to move Sanyi to his room, but after trying for a long time, he can't move it. He hasn't learned how to use chakras to increase strength yet. "Okay, then you can sleep on the ground." Jingyun Shingu spread the mattress on the ground, pushed Sanyi up, and covered her with a blanket. I got up and went out, and came to the roof. Close your eyes, empty your mind, and a pure white lotus flower appears in your mind. I don't know why, the lotus of the world is clearly pink and white, but the one he came up with is only white. Accompanied by the lotus, there is also a gentle chanting of scriptures. The great road is intangible, giving birth to heaven and earth. The great road is merciless, running the sun and moon. The great way is nameless, nurturing all things. I don't know its name, but its strong name is Tao. Master Tao. There is clarity and turbidity, there is movement and stillness. The sky is clear and the earth is turbid. The sky is moving, the earth is calm. Men are clear and women are turbid. Men are active and women are quiet, descending the origin and passing the end, giving birth to all things. Clear is the source of turbidity, moving is the foundation of stillness. People can always be quiet, and heaven and earth return. This dark idea not only succeeded in creation, but also had unexpected effects. In theory, a normal meditation method should only take effect in meditating, and not when not meditating. However, it is unknown whether it is because one is too close to the seed of the world, and this lotus flower seems to have taken root in one's mind, accompanied by chanting, keeping one's mind constantly recovering. Whether his spirit has grown stronger or not, he doesn't know. Perhaps the speed is too slow, he can't feel it. After all, it has only been running all night. However, even if it's just a recovery, he has already made a lot of money, which means that the time he spends using 3D modeling to cultivate chakra control can be greatly extended. Well, imagine a white lotus with recitation of the Qingjing Sutra, and this method is called the Qingjing White Lotus Sutra. The 3D modeling practice of chakra control can be called the Mingmingda Fa, which seems to originate from the path of university. In the phrase Mingmingda, but who could have thought that this actually means MMD? Jingyun Kamiya smiled proudly. However, he only has the ability to practice these two techniques. He doesn't know how to teach others yet. It's hard for others to say, but my sister definitely wants to teach them. Going back to research, right? I don't know if it's because of the Quiet White Lotus Sutra, but Jingyun Shingu has an extremely keen perception. He actually feels that this village seems very unsettled. Why do people run around in the middle of the night? Don't they need to sleep? My neighbor has to work tomorrow. Buzz. A black shadow flashed, and then a masked ninja appeared next to Kagyan Kamiya, startling him. This ninja is not only black all over, but also carrying a short knife on his back. But his hair is quite conspicuous, with a head of white hair that looks very similar to his desk mate. "You, who are you?" Jingyun Kamiya asked curiously, "Do you still have to work at night?" "Going to work." The masked ninja was taken aback and asked in a deep voice, "Whose family do you belong to? Why are you here at night?" "My home is right here." Jingyun Kamiya pointed to the house under him and said, "I can't sleep at night. I'm sunbathing on the moon." "What's wrong?" The ninja remained speechless and said, "It's best not to do this. Staying up late at night can lead to misunderstandings. Even if you want to bask in the moon, it's best to lie in the yard." The next second, this person has already disappeared. This Nima, is this an adult ninja? Jingyun Kamiya, although his face was obedient, was shocked in his heart. He just realized that his spirit seemed to have become much more sensitive, and this person silently appeared by his side. Although my attention is focused on him, I don't even know when he left or in which direction. What kind of person is this? It's a bit scary. If he wants to take action against himself, he won't have a chance to resist at all. Shingu Jingyun still goes downstairs from the heart and sleeps. Although the Qingjing White Lotus Sutra can restore the mind, sleeping is to eliminate the metabolites accumulated in the brain during the day. Meditation cannot completely replace sleep, and there are still 2 or 3 hours before dawn, which can help replenish sleep. The next day, at school, as usual, there was an hour-long chakra extraction, followed by a literacy class. Shingu Jingyun felt like a bit of a waste of time, but didn't know what to do. He looked around and then realized that there were students sleeping. That's a child with a pineapple head. It's only the second day of school and he dares to sleep openly. Does the teacher ignore him? He looked at Hino Jiha and found out that their classroom is a staircase classroom, and there is no situation where the students in front help block the students behind. This sleeping student will definitely be discovered by the teacher. But Hino Ji and Ling didn't care, just treat this child as non-existent. Can it still be like this? Jingyun Kamiya thought for a moment, feeling that the teacher didn't seem very responsible either. Yesterday, when he asked a question himself, he was perfunctorily returned, and some students didn't care about sleeping in class. But speaking of which, why didn't Kakashi come to class, take a leave, or skip class? Anyway, since someone is sleeping, I can still follow suit. Of course, he is not sleeping, after all, he is still in good spirits. However, when using the Ming Ming De Fa, he may faint. In order to prevent his head from hitting the table and causing noise, he decided to directly place his head on the table first. This way, classmates won't know if I'm unconscious or asleep. Perfect. Close your eyes and continue shaping chakra. After exercising all morning yesterday, his control over chakra has really strengthened. It was difficult to shape his personality before, but now he is almost in one step. Next, it's all about exquisite craftsmanship, and there's no need to worry about Shingu Jingyun. When I used to play modeling on my own, it was normal to manipulate the mouse for more than 10 hours. If there were no reference objects and imagination was fabricated out of thin air, it would take several days or even months to adjust. Besides, this is related to the improvement of strength. Those who come out of China are not advanced exam kings. They can roll up like that when they cannot feel progress with the naked eye. Now, I can feel my rapid progress. After literacy class, it's time for lunch break. Ninja school is not big, and many people live nearby. Some even go home to eat, while others bring bento and eat at school. His bento is pretty good, with rice and stir-fried pork with cabbage. But it seems that the protagonist, Yujibwa, had a mediocre diet with only vegetables and no meat. Perhaps it was because he added too much salt that the child's expression became very rich during meals. Isn't he from a wealthy family? His family's conditions are not good. Jingyun Shingu thought for a moment, but didn't get along. Although he may be the protagonist, Jingyun Kamiya doesn't feel inferior either. I have cheats, how can I be the protagonist's licking dog? In the future, mecha pilots will definitely have my share. But soon he realized he didn't need him anymore. The girl with meatballs and rapeseed on her face had already leaned in and shared her bento with him. Her name is Noera Rin, she belongs to the Noera family, a voice echoed beside her, like Inazuka Hana, who could barely be considered an acquaintance. Oh. Jingyun Shingu nodded. Sure enough, you didn't listen carefully when everyone introduced yourself, did you? Inazuka looked as if she had been caught by me. Yeah, I was lost in thought at that time. Jingyun Kamiya nodded. Wow, you actually admitted it. Inazuka Hua was taken aback. Shouldn't everyone rush to deny such things in their daily lives? What can't be admitted about this? Kamiya Jingyun shrugged, but it didn't affect anything. This is also a credit to the modern online society. He also plays games, and it is so common to greet his parents in games. After aligning for a long time, Jingyun Kamiya found the trick. If someone wants to argue with you, the best way is not to argue back, but to agree with them. Why are you such an assistant? Yes, yes, everything you said is right. You're so crooked, my grandmother always plays better than you. Yes, yes, everything you said is right. Do you think the atmosphere suddenly becomes harmonious when you answer like this? Alright, Inuzuka nodded and looked curiously at Jinyun Shingu. Children in Hokage world mature early, and Hinata became interested in Naruto at the age of 5. Kozuka Flower was the same. At the beginning of the school year, she noticed Kamiya Kageyun, who was out of place with the crowd. Being good-looking was one thing, mainly because other children were crying and acting coquettishly with their parents. Even Kakashi was a bit nervous, but this child was very calm. That's why she noticed that Jinyun Kamiya was constantly distracted while the whole class was introducing herself. However, I didn't expect him to just nod. How to put it, it seems like there is a very mature feeling. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Academic Conclusion. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Academic Conclusion. This afternoon, let's learn about seal making. Everyone, cheer up. Hino Shigehiro walked into the classroom, and 3 words excited Kanzuya Kamiya. Finally starting to teach new things. He was not idle during his lunch break and was thinking of finding a library to read and self-study. After searching around, he realized that there was no library in ninja school. After asking, he found out that there was only one public library in the entire village, which was not open to the public. That is to say, in primary school, he can only strengthen himself through enduring school and self-created methods. If the teacher wants to teach, then naturally listen carefully. There are many seals related to ninjas, and the most commonly used one is the one used to release ninjutsu, a total of 12, said Shiga Heino as he turned around and began drawing on the blackboard. Can't we just print a book? Jinyun Shingu was speechless, but the teacher's drawing skills were really good. The hands he drew could at least understand how it was done. Zi, Cho, In, Mao, Chen, Si, Wu, Wei, Shen, Yu, Su, Hai, these are the 12 seals we mainly learn. In addition to these 12 seals, we also have seals of opposition and reconciliation, which are ceremonial seals. I draw them here, continued Heijiha. Isn't this the 12 earthly branches? Listening to this name, Shingu Jinyun was very familiar with it. However, on second thought, things like yin-yang and ninjutsu were originally passed down from the Chinese side, so it's not surprising to have these things. He is a bit regretful. After all, there are quite a few Taoist handprints, but unfortunately he only knows one reincarnation seal, which is still because of walnuts. If you learn more, maybe you can still use it in this world. Starting with the teacher, these 12 fingerprints are not difficult, as they are all things that a 5-year-old child can master. First, I followed the teacher twice, then changed the order, and came in a mess. Hyano Jiha still had to go down, and he broke his fingers one by one to correct the children's mistakes. Even Jinyun Shingu has been corrected several times. There are too many students and too many fools, especially the one led by Yujibwa who can't teach anything. He only taught it 4 times in an afternoon, and many people still know how to do it when they follow the teacher, but forget everything when they try to do it themselves. There are also some who are already proficient. Shingu Jinyun silently observed and found that the class was indeed vaguely divided into 2 different groups. Family and commoners. Ordinary people are the kind who don't even recognize characters and have to learn from teachers, not to mention chakra extraction and seal making. They all start learning from scratch. And the family's children are classmates who already have a good foundation, can read, have chakras, and can also form seals. Shingu Jinyun can understand this situation very well. Isn't it the same in his past life? Wealthy families hired tutors early and completed the classes they were supposed to take during holidays, naturally leading other students by a large margin in school. This is obviously detrimental to the country, as it is easy to cultivate talents who only know how to take exams and cannot screen out truly talented individuals. These exam-oriented talents can also easily occupy the position of truly talented individuals. Those who rely on time and effort to pile up their grades are more likely to reveal their true colors when they arrive at university. So the country began to launch a heavy attack while deepening education reform. The same goes for Kiba village. If this situation continues and is not contained, Kazuya Kamiya feels that Kiba's future will be dominated by these families for a long time, ultimately leading to class solidification and no future for the common people. However, why bother me so much? Jingyun Shingu shook his head. This is still a habit brought over by modern times. Modern people are not like the great hero of key politics, who guides the country and promotes writing. No one is worse than others. He learns very quickly, perhaps because of his good memory, or maybe because hard work pays off. This talent doesn't have a system panel or anything to show Kamiya Jingyun his attributes, so he can only rely on his own estimation. He mastered 12 seals in school, and even if he shuffled the order, he could match them one by one. He continued to exercise on the way out of school. Recite a word silently in your heart, then create a corresponding seal, recite another word, and finally create a seal. It's a bit like memorizing vocabulary, but it's a Chinese-English comparison. Now it's a Chinese character and a print comparison. He is still trying to speed up the process of imprinting, and has experience with imprinting during chakra extraction. He has mastered it very quickly, and soon after leaving the house, he can achieve the level of immediately imprinting fingerprints when he thinks about it in his heart. Shingu Jingyun. A voice rang out from behind, and Shingu Jingyun turned his head to look over. It was still Inagaka Flower. What's up? Jingyun Shingu asked. Can't I come to you if I have nothing to do? Inazuka said unhappily, looking at Kamiya Jingyun's still imprinted hands. You're still exercising on your way out of school. Foolish birds fly first. Jingyun Shingu said lightly. Kazuka's expression was complex. You're not a stupid bird, you're a genius. I'm not a genius, it's just that I refine chakras a bit quickly. Besides, can a genius stop working hard? Jingyun Kamiya shook his head. There were too many examples of genius disappointment here. In ancient times, there was Fang Zhongyong, and in the modern LOL world, there are even more. In a fiercely competitive world, genius only means the entry threshold for a world, because genius is also working hard. If you rely on your own talent to act recklessly and expand, then you can only become a failure. A genius who has grown up is a genius. I just have some talent. If I haven't grown up, I'm nothing. Jingyun Kamiya waved his hand and said, if there's nothing else, I'll say goodbye first. Is this the classmate you're talking about? A voice rang out behind Inazuka Flower. Mom, why are you here? Inazuka felt inexplicably as her whole face warmed up. It was ruined, and she was all seen. Kazuka's paw chuckled twice and said, oh my, it's time for my talented daughter from the Kazuka family to be attracted to boys. Oh, Mom, what are you talking about? Inazuka quickly shook her head, thought for a moment, and then said, I'm not that talented. I'm far from him. But he comes from a commoner background, without ninjutsu or resources, and the future is destined to be inferior to yours. Inazuka Tsutoma also put aside his teasing thoughts and said, unless he can achieve the same level of excellence as ninja on Shuemen and make an exception to gain recognition from Lord Hokage, but that's too difficult. The talent of enduring on Shuemen can be said to be rare in 100 years. He dominated from 1st grade to 5th grade in elementary school. It should be noted that among his peers, there were outstanding family members such as Blood Red Pepper Whirlpool 9 Shinai, Pig Deer Butterfly, Yukibo Meichin, and Hinata brothers. Being able to stand out among these perverts is a testament to the strength of Shuemen. Especially when he was 13 or 14 years old, he was only a moderate ninja, able to instantly kill several Yun Ninja Murakami ninjas and rescue Vortex 9 Shinai. Now he has become a disciple of Sannin again, and it is said that he has also practiced a super difficult forbidden technique. When he learns it, his combat power can even catch up with the previous generation. This person's talent cannot be viewed by normal human standards at all. He is the kind of concept in novels that constantly challenges others, with junior brothers fighting senior brothers and disciples fighting elders. Shingu Jingyun, how can you compare yourself to him? Alright, let's go back. If you really like him, it's not impossible. Let him join our family when the time comes. Don't be proud of him now, he will make the right choice when he sees the difficulties of the future. Inuzuka Claw patted his daughter's shoulder. Oh, Mom, you speak like a malicious conspirator. Wow, I'm doing this for your own good. How could you say that to me? Learn to seal understanding seal formation, end of this chapter.